You probably have learned by now that this is a very, very important topic for me. And there is never enough talk about it. So I'm so happy to see so many of you today here and so many young people in the audience, which gives me hope that this will continue in the future as well. It's good to ask ourselves, what did we get from cars and road transport? And I'm sure that every one of you would say first, freedom of movement. And that is an incredible achievement, and I'm very much on the side as well. That flexibility, possibility to go wherever you want, whenever you want, it's really an incredible achievement of our society as well. But no matter how much we like that, we cannot overlook the negative externalities. And it's not only road safety, it's also pollution, it's also congestion. And these are the elements that we are now here called upon to reply to. And I'm confident that we can. Don't be scared. And I would like to, particularly today, focus on one of these negative externalities, which of course is road safety. And I cannot avoid asking myself all the time, over and over again, the same question. Actually, there are two. How come that road safety stayed for so long such a silent killer in European society? Why? But it's not longer so much important. The important thing is that today is no longer a silent killer. Today we're all talking about it and we're all starting to address it in a very responsible manner. But there is equally important another question is, how come that we have zero tolerance in aviation and rail mode, but there is no zero tolerance in road mode? What do you think? How come? So I was very much encouraged by the ministers in the last informal council in Graz when they started to ask this question on a political level. Why don't we take on board zero tolerance for roads as well? I have to say I loved it. I loved the question. I picked it up. And I hope we will continue to try to reply to these questions. Why is that important? Eric showed an incredible progress that we've made so far, and it's true. In the country I know best, in the 70s, a small country, less than 2 million population at that time, we lost 800 people per year. Today, it's a little bit over 100. Huge improvement, but very painful. Because who would want to be in the statistic of 100? Yeah? And it's 25,260 people lost lives on European roads last year. 25,260. And it's not only about victims. Just imagine the grief and the pain associated with all those that were left behind. And many of us were able to experience that on a few days ago when we had this special day, remembering the victims of road accidents. And stories we were able to hear were so painful. But I have to admit, when I left, it was a memory of that. But the pain was no longer there. It was still a commitment. But thousands and thousands of people live with that pain their entire life. So that explains the dedication. Yeah? And the number of fatalities indeed fell for 340, by 340, which is 2% between 2016 and 2017. And it's true that today's figure is about 6,240 lower than in 2010. These are statistics. They're great. Good encouragement that we're doing the right job. Every single one of you today here in the audience, I know it contributed a little piece to this figure. And that is fantastic. But that I hope gives us just more faith that we can keep moving. Yeah? And that is the message that I'd like to share with you today. And I truly believe that halving additionally the fatalities until 2030 is really giving us a good, clear path towards Vision Zero, which we at the Commission side, and many of you committed themselves until 2050. And are not only fatalities. Over 36,000 people are seriously injured every year. That's a huge figure. And equally, a number of families affected by that, or even more. So here, when we look at the statistics, we see that who are the most common victims, the most vulnerable ones: pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. And I took an even closer look at 2017 statistics, and in the urban areas where there is a big chunk of fatalities, most vulnerable are people above 65, pedestrians. Yeah? So we have, thanks to the statistics, better and better understanding where do we need to act, what do we need to address, how do we need to behave. Political commitment to road safety on the Commission side, I hope, is clear. Many important actions have delivered very concrete results, but as I said, there are more to come. And I would like to say thank you to every single one that contributed to almost halving the road victims in the last decade. That was an incredible job. But we all had to admit at the same time that we reached a level that with the old approach we could not move further. We even had a stagnation. Now we have 2% improvements. That is a very clear message that we need to do more. And that's why this adoption of the Violeta Declaration last year, when all ministers of European Union and later on also Western Balkans and Eastern Partnership and Turkey and more countries are coming on board, declared the clear commitment to road safety and included, besides the fatalities, also the commitment to start monitoring the serious injuries, which of course, especially for the industry, I hope you will find it useful. And that will give us another level of information in order to act even more precise, in a more precise manner. In already mentioned October, Graz meeting, informal Council of Ministers, we had another declaration reaffirmed all our ambitions and plans for safe mobility, which gave us, of course, additional strength in order to act. And I'm proud and encouraged to see all the time so many stakeholders coming together, NGOs, politicians, business people, associations, individuals, and that is the power of ecosystem, and only ecosystem can deliver. Nobody can do it on its own, because as you probably already sense, it's all about the system, holistic approach, because if only one tries to make a difference, it will get lost, and maybe another reason will diminish the possible achievements. And that's why the European Commission introduced, and we follow the concept of a safe system. As Eric mentioned already in his speech, we are addressing the road safety on 3 different levels: vehicles, infrastructure, and of course the behavior of people. And I would also like to add important 2 additional elements, which are the post-crash care and the road safety management, that are supporting these 3 core pillars. And all of them, little by little, we are addressing together with you. And I'm very, very deeply honored and thankful that we could act as an ecosystem. I'd also like to mention that in May this year, as part of our 3rd mobility package, we presented quite an ambitious, very ambitious, not quite, I learned that in English means something else, very ambitious plan, addressing 2 of these key pillars. One is infrastructure safety, and the other one is vehicle safety. On vehicle safety, I'm not going to go into details because the video was excellent presenting what we are after. So the 60 new vehicle safety features becoming hopefully mandatory. And technologies, as you could see selected, are focusing on very important in the vehicle and outside the vehicle safety, which both will again act in the spirit of holistic approach. We're also launching a study to see which of these assistance systems can and should be retrofitted in vehicles already on the road. And the results of the study are due by the end of 2019. The proposal on infrastructure aims to make European roads as safe and to the highest standards as possible. And here, of course, I'd like to point out a especially important element that recently the majority of fatalities we realized is happening on the regional roads. 39%. So not only corridor, not only major roads, where highways only 8%. It's still a lot. But we will continue to focus big on big, which means fatalities now on especially the comprehensive roads, the regional roads, and the most vulnerable users, as I mentioned before. Our infrastructure proposal also seeks to future-proof our roads in preparation for a higher level of automation. I'm glad that we are together walking the path with the industry and with the users, looking forward to these connected, cooperative, automated, and eventually autonomous mobility solutions. We also propose to introduce proactive risk mapping, and here I would again like to thank NGOs who encouraged us and showed us by the example across the entire network. And this will make it possible to compare the safety of road across Europe and inform investment decisions, including for EU funding, because we tend to bring this criteria as one of the decision-making criteria for the investments in the safety infrastructure. It's worth mentioning that we proposed in the new MFF, in the new financial period, for the first time, really road safety area part where we would like to focus on this missing safety features of our existing infrastructure. The third pillar of our safe system is, of course, drivers themselves, where we are already, but even more in the future, be tackling in part through a gradual move towards automation. As you probably have heard before, the human errors represent 94% of all fatal accidents. Do you think we can change humans? No. Do you think that would be even responsible? Because we are special because we are unpredictable, because we are spontaneous, because we react to what is happening in our environment. And of course, here technology can help us to stay authentic in our reaction to the world, but still not cause negative consequences. That's why I believe that new technology and new solutions will be of a great importance to us as a whole. That's why digitalization is so strongly present in our vision of European Union, Transport Union, and here we believe we could address these weaknesses in transport, but strengths in our human behavior. Meanwhile, we will continue our awareness-raising effort with a view to inappropriate and dangerous driver behavior, such as driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, speed, and, of course, the use of mobile phone and not using the seatbelt. Let's keep buckle up in our vocabulary all the time. I use it when we go with commissioners on a bus, and the first thing I say when I get to the bus, I say, buckle up, colleagues. And they smile, laugh, but they buckle up. And they now are using this as a sort of a description of my participation to road safety. So you're welcome to use it as well. But it does work, and that's what the important message is. Another thing that we also proposed is a proactive behavior, in a proactive behavior, is to improve road controls. And here I would like to thank you. Without incredible road controllers, we would never be where we are today. So police is playing a crucial role in overall achievements on the road safety. So here I hope I can continue to count on their really good cooperation. I'm not done yet. I need to ask you for a favor now. Because the files that are in the pipeline, we are negotiating with the Council and the Parliament. Please put a little bit of encouragement, and if it's necessary, a pressure as well, to the colleagues that they will complete the negotiations as soon as possible, because every month of delay means that we are not using the opportunity to deliver on road safety. So please don't take it as a positive vibe. Nobody will go against you if you lobby for something like road safety. So I hope I can really get you on board for that as well. And just to even encourage you more, European Commission to show a real dedication, we named now one person particular with a particular function, which will be European Coordinator for Road Safety, which is our colleague in DG Move, Matthew Baldwin. And he will now engage, and he's already engaging, traveling around member states, especially working with those that have a poor records or that they have specific challenges, and try to bring them on board in order to walk this Vision Zero even with better results in the next few years. Here, at the same time, I would really like to thank ASEA and the entire automotive sector, indeed, because of being brave and very decisive in joining our pledge for safety, road safety, that we put out as part of our third mobility package. So, my dear colleagues and friends, all these results are giving me a great hope that even after my mandate is finished, this will be a success story. So I hope that that is the case, and that a little bit of that passion and understanding what is at stake if we don't react, you put into your heart. And then always speak from that point of view and always bring that to life, because at the end, all it counts is really life that we have. That is the biggest pressure, and every single life counts. And that's why it's so important also that we engage ourselves on a UN level. So even when you go international, take road safety with you as businesses or as individuals. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Because at the end, this is a really, really beautiful mission that we all can have.
Thank you very
lives.
much, Commissioner, and please do come and join me.